Good morning, guys, and welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today, I'm going to be looking at a figure I picked up on eBay. It actually arrived for me this morning. I got it fairly cheap because the box is fairly fucking banjaxed. This is the Hasbro Signature Series Alien Resurrection Ripley. Yes, this is kind of a continuation of the Aliens figures. Obviously, Kenner did the Operations Aliens figures in the early 90s, and this line was done to tie in with the then new Alien movie, Alien Resurrection. It was part of the Hasbro Signature Series, which were movie related figures. These ranged from the classic Planet of the Apes to the Universal Monsters, and the figures themselves, the different kind of properties would have a standard kind of size figure like this one, and it would also have larger kind of dolls or maquette figures. But yeah, it was more for the movie aficionado rather than a child. Now again, the age bracket on this says ages 5 and up, but I think these were kind of a go between an actual toy and say a McFarlane Movie Maniacs figure. They're nice looking figures, but there is some drawbacks. But as I said before, I got this lady on eBay and I got her fairly cheap. You will run up a high price for these in mint condition. I did get her boxed, but as I said before, the box is absolutely fucking banjaxed. So that's why I got her on the cheap. The box itself, when it was in immaculate condition, it's an actually gorgeous looking box. I had another one of these figures, I'll show you later on. I had the newborn alien, and the box was a very collector friendly box. Again, the Signature Series wanted to promote adult collector aspect, so the boxes were there that you could keep the figures in and admire them. And just a quick look at the box itself there. So you have a window box, collector friendly window box. You have the Hasbro Signature Series kind of labeled there. You have Ripley, you have a couple of accessories that come with her, and aside there you have this kind of cool paneling that's kind of reminiscent of the Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie Alien Resurrection. Really cool. And just flip it over to the back and it shows what else comes in the line, and also there's a blurb. Alien Resurrection, the future, an old enemy, the perfect predator, a zealous assembly of scientists and officials conducting the experimental wedding of human and alien genes, a band of renegade space smugglers, and a mysterious appearance of a woman linked to an alien species dangerous beyond calculation. The results is a peril reborn and more shocking, monstrous than ever. So yeah, in the line, you could get the alien warrior, drawn to the alien queen. You could get Call, the mechanic of the Betty ship. You could get the newborn alien, genetic human alien hybrid. You could get the battle scarred alien, combat ravaged warrior drone. You could get Ripley, warrant officer, alien behavioral expert. And you could get the Aqua Alien, genetically enhanced aquatic alien. This one, I don't know where the person got it, but there's a lot of Japanese calligraphy here, and there's also the Kenner symbol. And again, there's not much else, just Ripley there on the bottom. And as I said before, the aesthetic of the box is really nice. Again, they kind of point out it's a movie edition and it's more a collector series, hence the collector friendly box. That said, because this box is absolutely fucking battered to shit, I'm going to pause the video here and I'm actually going to take Ripley out and we'll have a closer look. So don't go anywhere, I shall be right back. And we are back, and here is Ripley out of the box, and she comes with a couple of cool accessories. But before we look at the accessories, which I actually think are the better aspect of this figure, I'm going to have a look at the Ripley figure. And yeah, it does the job. Again, we're not looking at McFarlane levels of detail here. It could pass as Sigourney Weaver It's a lot more faithful than, say, the Kenner stylings, but they try and get the costume kind of accurate enough. It was more of a kind of burgundy brown mix. I remember the actual costume was meant for the character of Hillard, Kim Flowers' character of Hillard, and Weaver pulled rank and said, actually, I want to wear that costume. So they've kind of actually, this is interesting because they've kind of given this figure more of a combo between Hillard's costume and her original costume. This is more a kind of khaki brown. Again, as I said before, it's a Kenner figure. The likeness does pass as Ripley. More of Ripley from the original Alien than actual Alien Resurrection. But still, it's passable, it's serviceable. You can tell who it's meant to be if you've seen the movie. Articulation-wise, very limited. Again, this makes me think that the Signature series was more for collectors rather than kids. This was more something that was for movie aficionados or Alien buffs or Alien fans. Again, like the original Kenner figures, there is only 5 points of POA, but even those original figures, they had a little bit more playability in that they came with certain gimmicks, certain weapons. For example, Bishop, his torso could be split in half. Hicks had a rocket launcher. Apone could throw grenades. This is more akin to, say, the movie Maniac series, where it's a static figure. So this makes me think that these figures were primarily aimed at adult collectors and Aliens fans. Again, it's nicely sculpted and it gets the point across, but it's not super screen accurate, and it's more obvious that they went for the look of Ripley from the original Alien rather than Resurrection. It's cool. Again, it's a very kind of static figure, and articulation wise, you're just going to get a very kind of rigid kind of posability. I think whereas the other thing, the Kenner figures were in a very neutral pose, where this is more of a kind of battle stance. So you're only going to be able to kind of put her in kind of this stance, and that's it. At least with the neutral pose on the original Kenner figures, you could put them into vehicles and stuff. But yeah, it's a good figure. It's a solid figure. But I'm going to look at the more interesting aspect, and that is her accessories. And first off, I'm going to have a look at the creatures she comes with. And the first creature she comes with is this. It's a facehugger egg. It's a very kind of stylized facehugger egg. That's pretty cool. You have the legs of the facehugger coming out of the egg. I think maybe they were trying to capture the scene where Ripley's coming out of the water and the facehugger is emerging. It's hollow base there, which is a bit weird. But it's still pretty cool. Nice detailing, nice kind of flesh color tone on the facehugger. And yeah, it's nice. But the other figure, or the other accessory kind of creature she came with, I think is really impressive. And it is this. This is an embryonic queen, or a queen that hasn't fully matured. I really like the detailing on this. I thought there was articulation in the arms, but there isn't. But still, it's a gorgeous looking kind of figure that's packed in with Ripley. I like that. It's pretty cool. Like, the level of detailing on it is nice. Even the crown. And the small kind of hint of green on the black really adds to it. I just like that. It looks nasty even in its like kind of embryonic or infant stage. That's pretty cool. The other accessories she comes with are pretty interesting. They are actually screen accurate weapons. Now, I only know the name of one of them, but the first weapon she comes with is this. I think it's a shock rifle. I could be wrong. But it is more of the kind of smuggler or mercenary weapons. The crew of the Betty would have used something like this. And there's a weird kind of handle grip here that you're meant to kind of put Ripley's hand into to get her to hold it. And it's just, I think it was very ill-conceived trying to get the fingers in, because there's a lot of space in there. As you can see, it's kind of a struggle to get her hand into it. The other one, it does fit into the other hand a lot better, but it seems to have been designed for this one. It's weird that it's a bit of a struggle to fit in. But just have a closer look at it there. And yeah, I did not like the weapons in Alien Resurrection. I do like sci-fi weapons, but I think if you're going to make a sci-fi weapon, it should look functional. It should have a functionality to it. Like the original pulse rifles, they were Thompson machine guns that were kit bashed, and they put the SPAS 12 shotgun onto the base of them, and they looked practical because they were based off real weapons. That they were designed over real weapons that could be fired, that could be loaded, that ejected shells. And yeah, I think the issue I have with Resurrection is they wanted to make more stylized weapons, and the guns got bigger and less realistic looking. They weren't laser guns per se, but they didn't look like anything that would function kind of practically, if that makes sense. So there's this kind of battle rifle, and it's got some kind of weird scope or sight at the top, and there's a grenade launcher here, and the trigger for the grenade launcher's there. And it looks cool. It does look cool, but like, where does the clip go for the machine gun part? Like, it's a bit weird. Yeah, it's a cool design. I'm not a fan of this. One gun I am a bit more forgiving is this. This was kind of the signature weapon of the United Systems military. They took over from the Colonial Marines because obviously the Marines disbanded 200 years after Aliens and Alien 3. So what you got was the United Systems military, and they were using this. This, if I'm not mistaken, is called a Lasamera rifle, and this seemed to have different purposes throughout the movie. Some of them had kind of stun rounds or electronic rounds. Others were basic kind of firing tools. And again, it took me a while to warm to this because just functionality wise, it just looks weird. It just looks clunky. But out of all the weapons, I think this and Reese's shotgun were my favourite. Fun fact, in the Alien Resurrection game, this is referred to as a pulse rifle. So maybe it was the United Systems military's answer to the pulse rifle that the Colonial Marines had. Some people were pretty pissed that the United Systems military in Alien Resurrection didn't have pulse rifles and smart guns. I'm going to forgive it that, because that makes sense. The movie is set 200 years after Aliens and Alien 3. That would be the equivalent of our modern day military still using flintlocks or top-loader rifles. It would not make sense to be using a weapon that is 200 years out of date. There would surely be advancements in technology. That's one issue I have with some of the Alien novels as well. They sacrifice practicality for fan service. There's, I think it's CSROs that has the characters using pulse rifles and atmosphere processors and stuff. And that story is set 300 years after Alien Resurrection, which is set 200 years after Aliens, which is 500 years in total. That would be mental. That would be like us still using fucking steam power and flintlocks and stuff. But yeah, the Lasamera, I like it. It's pretty cool. It seems to be a lot more kind of forgiving for fitting into Ripley's hand. So I'll just pop it in there. Yeah, so it fits in a lot better and a lot easier, and you can kind of get a nice kind of pose. Again, I like it. I like the Lasamera. Um, Nothing for me though will ever beat the pulse rifle or the smart gun. Again, they were weapons that were built upon, literally built upon, the Thompson machine gun and the German heavy machine gun from World War II. But yeah, again, pretty cool. I think the standouts are the accessories. Ripley, she's a cool figure, but what you're getting at the end of the day is a static statue. This line was most definitely for film kind of buffs and film collectors and Aliens fans. I don't see many kids getting much enjoyment out of these figures. I just think that it's, again, there isn't even a neutral pose to kind of put her in. So I think this figure would be something that if you were a fan of Aliens, and if you're a fan of Alien Resurrection, which is a very niche fandom, that this would definitely tickle your fancy. There was other kind of collectibles and figures in the line. There was a, I say, life-size embryonic queen and facehugger that you could get in these tubes. I think there was also a 10-inch warrior alien that you could get. Again, the signature series kind of, they catered to different kind of aspects of collectors and stuff. So guys, I'm going to pause the video here, and when I come back, I'm just going to do a size comparison with another figure from the line. So don't go anywhere, I shall be right back. And we are back, and there is Ripley. And to do a size comparison, I'm going to put another figure from the same line next to her. I'm going to put the newborn alien next to Ripley. So that's just to show the size difference. And while he is larger, that isn't really screen accurate because the newborn towers over Ripley. It's almost as big as the Queen. So there's some liberties taken with that figure there. But he looks cool. I was in a store, a department store in my town, and they had a bunch of these on clearance in a little kind of, it wasn't even in the department store, it was in a kind of little kind of corner shop, and they were selling these guys off, and they had him and the aquatic alien, and I went for the newborn because the newborn looks fucking cool. There's some aspects about these figures that are actually really cool, which makes me think, again, the signature series was aimed at adult collectors and not kids. But he looks cool, but screen accuracy wise, just like Ripley, he's not going to be the same color. There was more of a human kind of skin tone for that guy, and he's smaller in comparison to the human figures because, again, Call was in the line. Just for anyone wondering how Ripley scales up to the classic Kenner figures, there is Bishop next to her, just to show you how he scales up. And yeah, she towers over him. So there's definitely a big kind of scale difference from the signature series and the original Kenner Alien series. Nice figure, not perfect, not screen accurate. I just couldn't see kids playing with these back in the day. These were most certainly for adult collectors, and I think Hasbro were expecting the success that Kenner had with their Aliens line, and it just, they look cool, but playability wise, there's not much you can do with them. I think these were just kind of thrown out there, realizing that the movie didn't do so well, so hey, maybe we can market these towards movie collectors. Again, interesting figures, interesting looking, but without any play features, without any vehicles. They're essentially kind of caught between Kenner old school Aliens action figures and McFarlane Aliens figures. So what do you think, guys? Do you think this is a cool figure? Do you think it's kind of crap that it's in in that kind of pre-pose. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and also, were you a fan of Alien Resurrection? Let me know that in the comments below as well. My name's Martin, this has been the Trash Picture Show, and yeah, have a good one, take care, bye now.